The US Vice-President JD Vance is travelling to Greenland today, where he'll receive a briefing on Arctic security issues. You'll know that President Trump has repeated his claims that he wants the US to control Greenland for national security reasons. Russia's President Vladimir Putin says he thinks Mr. Trump is being serious. Well, my colleague, our chief presenter, Mariam Mashiri, has flown to Greenland and can join us now from the capital, Nuuk. Mariam, it looks quite cold there. When are we expecting JD Vance to arrive, and what has been the reaction to his trip there?
It is cold, Nikki. It's about minus 13 degrees Celsius, or it feels like minus 13 degrees Celsius. And the temperature is not the only frosty thing about Greenland this morning. There has been a lot of controversy and a lot of attention on this visit by JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States, and his wife, Usha Vance. Now, remember, when she first announced this visit, she wanted to come here for a bit of fun, a cultural tour, some dog sledding, things like that. Nothing too serious, or so she thought. There was a lot of pushback, Nikki, against that visit. People here not happy about the Trump administration, which has made it very clear that it wants, one way or another, to annex this island, to annex Greenland, to make Greenland part of the United States of America. Well, that pressure then led to the Vice President announcing that he was going to join his wife on this trip, but it was going to be a much scaled back affair. The couple are arriving later on this afternoon local time, and they'll be leaving just a few hours later. They'll be accompanied by the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, and also the US Energy Secretary, as well as another senator. So that scaling back, that backtracking by the Americans in terms of the way in which they wanted this visit to go, has been taken by some here who are opposed to it as a bit of a victory. Earlier, I spoke to Danish author and journalist Martin Brium about this. He told me people here are glad the couple won't be coming to the capital Nuuk today.
That is a relief, because there is no functioning government in Nuuk at the moment. The Americans were not invited, but there were already military planes landing here with bulletproof cars. The center of town was teeming with police and American diplomats, and the tension, the stress that causes in such a small town as Nuuk with less than 20,000 people is hard for, I think, the rest of the world to understand. So there is a sense of relief amongst the people I've talked to that they're not coming to Nuuk.
So, Nikki, where the couple are going to be headed is the US Space Base, which is based in the northwest of the island. They won't be having anything to do with the capital. And I have to say, people here are angry. I spoke to a number of them both yesterday and earlier on this morning, and I've had people saying to me, you know, quite frankly, Greenland is not for sale. They've said they feel very uneasy about the political agenda behind this visit. So you might be asking, why is Greenland such an interest for the United States of America? Well, to give you a bit of context, it's the world's largest island. It's absolutely beautiful here. It's an island full of icy fjords, deep ravines and wonderful views, but it's not the nature or the beautiful views that the US is interested in. This island is an absolute wealth of natural resource. It has untapped oil reserves, untapped mineral reserves, and that is one of the reasons analysts say the US is so interested. Also, it's a little bit about security. This, of course, is the Arctic. The Arctic is very much the epicenter now of focus for countries like China and Russia, who want to get a foothold in this geopolitically important area. Now, interestingly, in the last day or so, President Putin has said that Greenland has nothing to do with Russia. He said that the Greenland, in his words, is a matter between two countries and has nothing to do with us. Perhaps, Nikki, that's President Putin giving a subliminal message to President Trump about how he would like Mr. Trump to behave towards Mr. Putin when it comes to Ukraine. So under the shadow of this visit by JD Vance and his wife, later on today, the Democrats, the Greenland Democrats, after the election 2 weeks ago, are going to be announcing their new coalition government. And I think it's pretty safe to say that what Greenlanders really want to focus on is themselves and their future. They want to move closer towards independence from Denmark. Remember, Denmark has pretty much controlled this territory for the last 300 years. The Danish kroner is the national currency. Danish products are found through the supermarkets. What Greenlanders really want is to move a little bit closer towards becoming an independent country rather than being under the shadow of the USA.